welcome back to my bench. If this is your first time here, welcome. My name's Dave. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button down there and ring the bell if you want to know if I'm doing more of this stuff. A little while ago, I did a video on measuring capacitors with different meters to see how they agreed with each other, and for the most part, they did okay. We went through why different meters read differently based on frequency and a couple of other things. And kind of came to the conclusion that for capacitors and a quick check, this little meter in the middle was probably best. This one was second, and this one not so much. It's okay, it does good, but I got other things that'll do it. Today, I want to go through sort of the same thing, but with inductors. I want to measure a bunch of inductors. And we are going to use the same 3 meters. We're not going to use the other meter that I had in the previous video because it doesn't read inductors, so we won't use that. And I'll put a link to the other video up here, up in the corner, so that you can go see it. We're going to... This meter over here is a XJW01 digital bridge. It's pretty good, fairly expensive. I'll put a link down in the description. It has some shortcomings, which we'll see, but it does do a pretty good job. This is the little $20 quickie checker that from China that I am always amazed at how well it does on pretty much everything. And this one is a Proster BM4070 induction, resistance, capacitance, and induction meter. So let's get into it here and see what we can see. Let's start off with a fairly big one. This is 820 microhenry. I bought these a long time ago. I got a huge package of these things, just hundreds of them. Really cheap. I went through and tested a lot of them, sampled them, and they all seem to be pretty accurate. I'm surprised. This is what they look like. They're just look like a resistor almost, except for their gray body and kind of, a little bit different. You read these things the same way that, these particular ones, you read the same way as you read resistors. If we look at this one, it is marked gray, red, brown with silver. So that means it is gray, which is 8, red, which is 2, brown, which is 1 times, or 1 0 extra. So 820, and silver, GS and no color, gold, silver, and no color. So that would be 5, 10, and 20%. So this is a 10%, 820 microhenry inductor. So let's start with this guy in the middle. We'll do each one of them the same way. Hook it up. Now I'm hooking it up with 1 and 3. You don't really have to hook it up 1 and 3 on these meters. Most of these meters, if you're measuring capacitance and you want to see ESR, you have to do it between their little ports 1 and 3, not 1 and 2. 1 and 3 will give you ESR, 1 and 2 will just give you the capacitance. Some of them it doesn't matter. This particular one it does. So let's see. Let's go down and take a close look at this and push the button. So what does it say? You can't really see this too well. It's measuring the battery. Says it's good. Says it's a resistor and an inductor. 13.8 ohms at 8.82082 millihenries, 820 microhenries, which is exactly what it says it's supposed to be. So that's good. Let's go over here, turn on this guy, and measure it on here, hook it up. I'm on the 2 millihenry scale. and it says about 811. So that's pretty close. 810, 820 is within its 10%. Let's go down to resistance. It says about 14 ohms. So that's pretty, 13, 8, 14. That's pretty good. All right, now let's take it on over to this meter and put this in. It'll do auto. Just whatever you hook up, it'll try to find it. Sometimes it fails. If you want to do inductors, because they are also resistors, put it in, take it out auto. So what does it say? It says about 763.9 microhenries. Phase relationship of plus. Remember the other ones with the capacitors were minus. This is a phase relationship of plus 67.9, 68. An ideal perfect one would be 90, but why is it only reading 68? Well, this meter will go up to a total of, the fastest the oscillator will work on this is 7.8 kilohertz. That's really not high enough for inductors, especially smaller. The smaller you go, or well, actually, the bigger you go. This should be about a megahertz or better. If they sold one that was a megahertz or better, I'd definitely buy it. I haven't found one. Well, let's find out when we take this thing back to 100 hertz, which is its next one down. Take a look at that and see what it says. It says 791 microhenries. It's still got 1375 for resistance. But look at the phase. It's down to 2.053. At 100 hertz, this is basically a resistor, 13 ohm resistor. So it's not, it would not work. It's basically not big enough. It's just not built right for that, for 100 hertz. If we take it up to a 1 kilohertz, still 785, 13.82, but the phase is coming up a little bit at 1 kilohertz. But if we take it up to its highest of 7.8, we're back up to 68 degrees phase, plus 68 degrees phase. 14.97, it's still within the ballpark with 760 microhenries. So they all pretty much agree. They're showing us exactly what this thing is, but this one is definitely giving us some more information. So there's 820. Let us try, let's try a 470 real quick. Let's try a 470. We'll try it on this one first. We'll do it between 1 and 2 just to show you that it will work. Get it started again. Alright, so this one now, let's get a close-up of that one so you can see it better. This one now is telling me 440 0.44 millihenries, or 440 microhenries at 4.4 ohms. So that's okay. And now let's try it over here on this one. And see what it says. It says 0.4, I'm on ohms. 462. So this is a 440. It's supposed to be 462. And its resistance is about 4.6 ohms. These two agree. But now let's put it onto this one and see what it says. It says 420 microhenries, which is good. I'm going down in microhenries, and about 5.3 ohms at 7.8K, and my phase is 75.53. We'll go through real quick at 100 hertz. It's going to measure approximately the same thing. 437, phase is 3, 4.6 ohms, 1 kilohertz. 433, 31 phase, and back to 700.7 or 7.8 kilohertz. Back up to about 75. So this one's accurate too. And all of them are reading about the same thing. All right, let's take a little one. How about, here is a 1.2 microhenry. We'll measure this, clip him onto here, into there, and bring it down here. What is this reading? It's reading it's a resistor. No inductor at all. It is a 0 ohm resistor. It's a piece of wire. So that's what this is reading. Alright, so it won't read these little guys. Well, we don't know. Maybe this is bad. I mean, this is marked. Let's see. It's marked black, red, gold, and a silver band. So that would be 1.2. Yep. Alright, let's hook it up to the Proster, and see what it says. Yeah, well, ohm-wise, it's saying 0.4, almost nothing. Go to 200. All right, and it's measuring it at 2.2. Okay, so 1.2, 2.2. So according to this is way out, 100% out, from 1.2 to 2.3. However, at this lowest little bit, you have to adjust your 0, I think. No, that's as low as it'll go. Yeah, it's still measuring at 2.3. So this one's measuring at 100% out, but it's a little inductor. Let's go on over to this guy and measure here at 7.8 kilohertz and see what this has to say. This is saying a 1.13 microhenry, so it's really close. 107 milliohms, that's 0.017, that's 0.17 ohms. Yeah, so it's a wire. But my phase relationship, my phase here is 27.41, 27.38, somewhere around there. It's already low. If I take this thing down to 100 hertz, it's going to go down, it's going to drop to 0. Yeah, 0.455. It's still reading the same value and the same ohms, but it's just a piece of wire. So, all right, well, okay, that's 1.2. Let's try something completely different here. Now for something completely different. I got this guy. This is a variable inductor. Bunch of wire wrapped around a coil form with a slug going through it that you can run up and down inside of the coil form, changing the inductance of the device. This came out of an old radio, and it's marked. I got it marked on it. It says 0.1 to 0.81, so it's 100 to 800 microhenries. So let's try it on this one first. Come on. There. Lights are a good thing until they start making all kinds of... Alright, measure this, see what it says. It says 3.7 ohms, 40.49 millihenries, or 490 microhenries. So it's reading it right. Let's go over to the Proster, measure it here. I take it down a step. Okay, so the Proster's measuring at 514 with a resistance of about 3.8. All right, now let's tell you what, since this one is variable, I got, let's take you back out so you can see what I'm doing here. All right, I got this little tool, and I'm going to twist on this and back it out and see it change. There we go. 500, 480, 460. Come on, down we go. 0.3. I'm cranking away, and this thing's coming out of the farther and farther. 0.2, 0.2. Come on, come on, come on. 0.1, 1.8, 1.7, 1.6. Keep it going. According to what I wrote on it, it should be 0.1. Okay, that's the end of the turn. It won't go anymore. So 0.104. And let's take it all the way down to the other end. 280, 300, 500, 600, 700. Whoops, getting loose. 800, 820, 528, 830. And it's about to fall out the bottom. You can see there. All right. So it's about 830. Let's take it back out some. Take it out to about 800. All right. So that's reading it, and it's doing what it's supposed to do. Let's do it over on this meter. See what it says. We left it at 800 on the other meter. And see what this meter says. It says 769, 3.8 ohms, and my phase is 84 degrees, plus 84. Perfect. That's good. Let's crank it. Get this stuff out of the way. I'm going to crank it here just like I did on the other one, but I'm going to leave it hooked up so you can read it, or leave it on this thing so you can read it. Clip fell off. Hold on. All right, so let's crank her down. I'm cranking. It takes a while to catch up with me. 650, 570. You can see the phase dropping down as I do this. There's 80.9. Okay. 438. 368. All right, so you can do it, but it's pretty slow keeping up with you. Let's take it back to 500 and test it at 100 hertz. Yeah, 600 or 4 or 5 degrees. Not good. And 40 degrees at 1 kilohertz. And 81 degrees at 7.8. So this thing's not bad at 7.8 kilohertz. I believe it came out of an old shortwave set. I'm not sure. I don't remember anymore, but anyway, it measures it. So they're all measuring it at about the same thing. What have we learned here? Well, the first thing we learned was this thing is good. Take it back out. You've seen back out. This thing is pretty good for quick tests. I mean, it does a nice job. It reads your resistance and your inductance nicely. However, it won't go down to the 1.2 because its limitation is it reads in millihenries, where it's 0.49 or point whatever. So it can't go down to that last digit. So anything under 10 millihenries, not going to read. So, but it's quick and it's easy and it's cheap. This one read it, but it read it wrong. It read it at 2.3 because I can't zero out the leads, evidently, only on capacitance, I think. Let's, yeah, you can zero out the leads on capacitance, but you can't do it on inductance. So it's not real accurate, but it did read it, and it gave us the right resistance. This meter over here read it quite well. It also gave us the phase relationship. The resistance was the same, and the inductance was the same as the other ones, except for this one, which was just wrong. So, which one? Well, once again, for quick measurements on the bench, just quick, this guy really can't be beat for that. You're not going to measure too many inductors that are 1.2 millihenry or microhenries. If you're going to measure stuff, they're going to be more or less like this guy usually. This one, well, it was pretty good until you got down into the low ones, and then it's not accurate anymore. Tell you what, let's take, just for fun, I want to try something real quick. Let's see if we use this one. I did not test this. And it's still reading 1.7, 1.8. So it's not as far off, but it's still not correct. So, no. For low values, it's no. So once again, this thing is a lot more accurate and it gives you more information. It's expensive, but it does what it does. This one is quick and easy. This one's very quick and easy. The only thing this does that's much better than the other ones is when you're measuring variable inductors, it keeps up with you as you're changing the inductance. So, if I had to pick only one for inductors, I say I'd probably go with the XJW01. If it went up to a megahertz or better, it would be a definite no-brainer. So, again, this one's out of the running. This one you already got, more or less, probably. And this one does a better job on all of the inductors that we tested. So, there you go. About the same conclusion. This one and this one. But this one measures. You can read faster. I don't know. I just don't think it's worth spending the extra money to get this one over it. So, there you go. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you learned something. If you did, let me know. If you didn't, let me know. Maybe I can change how this stuff works or how I'm doing these or whatever. Thanks for stopping by. Till next time.